guitar on you?
I don't know why I can't have it on me.
I hope Lucas Mitchell joins us tonight.
Are you doing it?
He can't be here in person. He said he's going to watch online though.
He was too busy watching Netflix.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Seriously, he was watching Netflix. I saw it on his Xbox.
Go.
I can't think of it.
Mia,
No.
I'll go.
No.
let's hear it. You're not a girl.
I had to write this down. I'm 16. I play golf and I like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, no, you don't play golf. You don't like golf. You don't like golf. You don't like Dr. Pepper.
He's drinking a Coke right now.
We don't have Dr. Pepper as an option.
Yeah, man, I go hit.
Oh my gosh.
We got one person. Is it Mom or is it Lucas? Lucas, is that you? Are you the one?
Right. Wait, you can play the golf. Never mind. Well, then why didn't you first?
Lucas will leave a comment probably.
Lucas, leave a comment.
If it's not Lucas, that person's gonna be really offended.
Yeah, and if you're not Lucas, leave a comment. Glad you're here. Golf?
Here, I'll sit right here while
Liar.
Jackson's.
You're telling us to lie, so how does that? You can't accuse someone of being a liar.
Liar. You told me to lie. Liar.
Jackson's going?
Yeah.
What's up with the Wilson guys like using their phones?
Because I can't remember stuff well.
He's so brilliant.
I have like the memory.
They have memory issues.
Okay,
we need to fix this.
I didn't see that.
I thought you were for
Oh, I forgot what I did to these.
Lies.
This is America. Don't catch me slipping up. What?
All right, you ready?
Go for it. Lay it on. Jackson's got the.
All right.
All
All right. Coke is my favorite drink.
That's a lie.
I'm 18, and I own 10 Mr. Beast items.
Oh, wait. Oh, crap.
Coke is your favorite.
No,
It's not your favorite drink.
I thought you had more than 10. He definitely has more than 10. Yeah, you told us. Yeah, you have more than 10. That's the lie. Kira! I messed it up. Really? No. Okay,
More
we're
than
good.
10?
Huh?
I don't have more than 10.
Oh, so that's the
Wait,
lie.
are you counting your image?
I'm only counting clothing.
Oh.
Oh.
Never mind.
You said items. You said items.
Okay.
Items.
It was Coke. I
swear I'm wearing
clothing.
Then why are you drinking
Your dog doesn't
Right.
There's Sprite over there.
You sold it well. Your Dr. Pepper
The
guy?
original taste had literal Coke in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Yes, I will.
Anybody else?
Um,
Any other good liars?
see, I'm a bad liar. If I was like, it's really not visual that lie.
Dylan's like, I'm 6'5".
Yeah, I'm like 6'5". I'm rich. Oh yeah.
African American. You go there? Is that like?
Dad!
No, I'm just thinking about like crazy lies. I just
I'll do one if we still need a girl to
Do it.
Okay. Oh shoot. Okay. I have a full-time job.
Why are you here?
Wow.
I have a full-time job.
Okay. I have a full-time job. I've played guitar for a year, and I've written 2 songs.
I'm gonna say the guitar for you.
Yeah, the guitar for a year.
Nobody
It's
is
a lie.
I can pull the
What
video
was the
for
first
guitar
one?
in Oklahoma.
The first one was I have a full-time job.
It's the first one.
No, that's true.
I know.
She works at a pound or something like that.
Oh my god. No! I work at a grooming and boarding facility.
Same thing.
No!
What'd you call it?
So it was a pound. Grooming and boarding. So it's like a hotel and spa for dogs. It's where they send their dogs.
So I can kill.
Oh my gosh.
Did we guess?
I don't know if they did or not.
Who thinks I'm lying about her job?
Who thinks I'm lying about my job?
Which one? Who thinks the guitar's a lie?
Who thinks the guitar's a
Yeah, I'm
lie?
not quite full time.
Oh yeah.
Who thinks
You
she's lying
just say
about
a
writing
lie?
songs?
I did.
What's the lie, Lizzie?
I've been playing guitar for 9 months, not for a year.
What?
Yeah, because I learned it in August. I started learning in August.
I've had a guitar for like over.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I've had a guitar since I was 7 years old, and I still don't know how to play. It's really nice.
Mine's like a mini guitar.
I feel like a lot of people have guitars. They just sit there.
My dad plays that guitar all the time.
All right, we're gonna get started. They're gonna sing. They're gonna lead us in a couple of songs.
Can you
Everything's super low key and informal. So if you guys need more to drink or eat, help yourselves.
like get up in the middle of the song? Oh my gosh, it'll start moving. Whichever one you want to start with. The one with the cable. Which one did I do cable one? Shoot! No, it was this one. Here I am to worship was on cable too, right? That's what we did. Yeah. Okay, yeah. This is
Tell me guys your hammer.
okay, we're not doing that one. What? Okay, this one. Yes, start with that one. That one's my favorite. Oh, start. Okay. Hold the second too. We're not starting. Everyone's okay. Just now. Get quiet when you start music.
YouTube now.
Doesn't know the song. Tell him. Count on one thing. The same God that never fails. Will not fail me now. You won't fail me now. In the waiting. The same God who's never failed.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
I was trying to
Holy crap!
Imagine Lucas right now.
you want to put it back?
That was so funny.
Okay.
What?
Redo. Oh goodness. All right, it's not correct. All right, we all good?
have corona.
All right, here we go. We're gonna try that again. All right. The same God that never fails, so not fail me now. You won't fail me now. You're waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. Working all things out. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh, yes, I will for all my days. Oh, yes, I
stand against. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is happy all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will.
Cheers. I just looked over at you guys and was like seeing petulant mustard.
I saw that. I was like, ew.
I didn't see it until.
So the next song we're gonna sing, I think we've done it a few times before. It's a pretty simple one to follow along with. It's "Here I Am to Worship," and yeah, so I think it's pretty easy to follow along with. So yeah, we're gonna do that now.
You just repeated the same thing twice.
I'm sorry.
I can't see either.
Light of the world, you step down into darkness. Open my eyes, let me see beauty that made his heart adore you. Hope of a life spent with you. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. King of all days, so highly exalted, glorious in heaven above. Humbly you came to the earth you created, all full of faith became born. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. 'Cause I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. 'Cause I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me.
Oh, right. Thank you.
What's the
They only have one. Like in the glass bottle.
Maybe.
What?
All right. So last week we looked last week at the Sermon on the Mount, which is in Matthew 5, 6, and 7. So we're going to continue with that tonight. Before we read the scriptures, though, so here's a question to get you thinking. What's a word that you would use to describe yourself? It can be humorous, it can be serious. But,
Short.
okay.
Short.
Hey, you're taller than
Let me. Good word. Let me like qualify just a little bit. So like a word to describe your character or your personality, not necessarily like your stature, your size, your looks, but devastatingly handsome. But like, how would you describe your personality? One word.
Erratic.
Yeah, mine's definitely.
What is it?
Erratic.
Erratic.
outgoing.
Totally unpredictable. What'd you say? Outgoing.
That is normal.
Cool.
Okay. I get called a crackhead.
Crackhead. You get called that a lot?
Just like actually insane.
Yeah, you should have seen him last week.
Oh, yeah.
Mia, how would you describe yourself?
Definitely crackhead. Yeah.
Riley.
Oh, Emily, oh my gosh, you're such a
I'm just
crackhead.
an awkward human being.
Awkward.
So, yeah. I relate to you on that.
I disagree. I don't think you're awkward at all.
No, that's Lizzie on there. I'm just kidding.
This is over here like, you just did that thing. I don't know.
I did, it's not this.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Brian, a word?
You can't remember names.
Hey, Brian.
What?
That one, no.
Dude, it's like a
You can't get any better.
You can't do it so bad. I don't know.
Tall.
Cheerful.
Well, be thinking. It's okay.
We'll be thinking.
Wait, wait for Shirley's?
Be thinking, because you can. If you want to chime in later, you can. The reason I asked that question of you, where are you going?
He said, where are you going?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What did he say? Is it appropriate?
Alien.
Does he look like an alien?
This guy's name would be tapped out.
So here's the reason I asked the question. All right. So like, I'm sure, and I know like it's weird to like maybe answer that question in a setting like this because you want to put yourself out there. But like, I'm sure we all think about that from time to time. Like, hey, what kind of personality do I have? What's my mood like? What's my attitude like? What am I trying to project to the world? Is that the real me? Who am I? What am I? That kind of thing. We think about that sort of stuff. If you are a Christian, somebody who believes in Jesus, right? You believe that Jesus died on the cross, rose from the grave. You live your life for him, died to self. That makes you a Christian. Jesus has a way of referring to all of us, like regardless of whether you're tall or short, wide or not wide, or funny or lame or whatever, athletic, not athletic. So Jesus would say all of those other words and descriptors are fine. Like we all have different personality types. That's all fine. But then there are some words that like belong to every one of us if we are truly saved. If we truly are Christian, there is a certain way that we should see ourselves. And that's what I want to talk about, or what the Bible is going to share with us tonight, and what I want for us to talk about. So this is Matthew 5, if you're following along at home on your iPhone Bible or whatever. Verse 13. Here, I'll read the whole passage. See if you can pick out the words, all right? Verse 13, Jesus said, still the same sermon. So last week we talked about the Beatitudes, said, blessed are you if you're this, blessed are you. So same sermon, and now he says, you are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. Then in verse 14, Jesus said, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. So what are the two descriptor words that he used there?
Salt, light, lamp,
And light.
I thought it was light. Light.
Salt and light. It starts with salt, and then it goes to light. And now remember, like, who Jesus is speaking to, all right? So he's got his 12 disciples that he's called. Any of you guys seen that show on online? I think it's on YouTube. We started it a few days ago. The Chosen. It's about Jesus and his disciples. At least the first episode is really good. So it's all about Jesus's interaction with his disciples. So he's got the disciples there. They're listening to this sermon. And then there are some other quote-unquote followers. So the other followers are people who, like, they've seen Jesus do something, they've heard him preach something, and they're really, really interested. So they're following too. They're not following to the depth that the 12 disciples are following, because the disciples aren't leaving him. They're like camping out with him. They're eating every meal with him. They're there all the time. But then there are other followers who show up from time to time. They like what they hear. They like what they see. But then they go back to, their homes, their jobs, that sort of thing. And then there are people like further back in the crowd who they're not really sure. They're interested, but maybe they've got some real questions about this guy and what he's saying and what he's doing. And then there are other people like religious people, the Pharisees, and maybe some Romans, some guards, people like that who are there because they don't like him at all. And they want to make sure that he doesn't say anything that he shouldn't say or do anything that he's forbidden from doing. So quite a varied audience. And so Jesus looks at them and he says, you are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. And I think what he's doing, in fact, I know what he's doing. He's not giving that descriptor to all of them, but to those who truly believe, to those who really believe that he is their Messiah, their Christ. He is saying, you are the light of the world and the salt of the earth. Let's talk first about salt. What is salt?
NaCl.
What is it?
NaCl.
Yeah. You've had chemistry, so that's the
That's nitrous oxide.
sodium.
Chloride.
There you go, chloride. So that gives you salt. Take those two elements together, combine them, put them in a blender, and you've got yourself. Yeah, it's as simple as that. So salt, right? What do we use salt for?
Everything.
Put it on your food.
Tools. Oh wait. That's salt pool. That's salt water.
That's saltwater pool.
No,
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the kind of
It is
thing
like
like takeout.
Is there salt and chlorine?
I'm pretty sure that if you
No, the element of salt.
I'm
If
pretty
you have
sure
a
that if
saltwater
you put
pool.
sodium and chlorine in a blender and then mix it together and ate it, you'd probably get poisoned.
Yeah, don't do that. As a joke.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, I feel like Donald Trump telling people to eat bleach. Like, don't do that at home. There's some chlorine and some sodium.
That's my favorite.
Did you see his new post?
I can only imagine.
I was
So salt. So like most of the time for us as Americans in the 21st century, we use salt to flavor our food. You cook something, fries, chips at a restaurant. How many of you, when you go like out to Tex-Mex, they bring the chips to the table and you grab the salt shaker and you're like, boom, load it up, right? So salt, it's designed to like bring the natural flavors of the food out, right? If you're like super into salt and all you taste is salt, well then you've salted your food too much. If it just tastes like, there is such a thing. It's really designed to like add to your food right after it comes off the grill or right after it comes out of the fryer. Add a little bit and it just enhances the flavor of your food. But like, here's what we got to remember. Jesus is talking here to people that lived 2,000 years ago. So there are no Tex-Mex restaurants. There's no French fries. There's no tortilla chips. They don't even have little shakers of salt like we do in their homes. So most of the time, the salt that they used was used to preserve things. So think about fishermen, right? So Jesus called many of his disciples, and they were fishermen. He said, "Hey, drop your nets, come follow me." And when they would go out to fish, they would take out their huge, not like one little pole, but like huge nets, hoping to get a huge catch of fish. But what don't they have? What don't those fishermen have to refrigeration?
That's what salt is for.
Yeah. So like if they get 400 fish, there's no like, we'll just stick them in the freezer. No, they've got to clean them and preserve them as quickly as they possibly can. So that means packing them in salt, putting them in jars, putting those jars probably like under the ground inside their home, that sort of thing, to preserve that food, to preserve that meat.
It's a lot of paper.
Yeah. Another way they used salt was in trade. So like they had a concentration of salt, like the Dead Sea. How many of you guys have heard of the Dead Sea?
Oh, yeah.
Dead Sea, like the lowest place on the planet. It's salty. You can float in. I got to go there and float in it last year. It's pretty crazy.
Did it taste good?
No, horrible. Really, really bad. Here's a glass of salt water. It felt like being, it's more salty than the ocean, right? Because you just float. You don't have to like keep yourself. I don't know. I think it would probably ruin the motor. Because of all but so these Israelites, they have an abundance. They had an abundance of natural salt. So they would basically mine it, harvest it, and trade with it to peoples who didn't have access to salt. So what Jesus is saying here is he's basically saying this. He says, hey, you people, because if you follow me, if you really know me and obey me and love me, you're three things. You're bringing some flavor to your world. You're bringing some zest to your world. That's the first thing. He's saying you bring like a preservative to the world, and you're valuable. I think that's what Jesus means when he says you are the salt of the earth. You bring some flavor. What is flavor?
What taste, tongue reacts to.
Yeah, it makes your food fun to eat, right? If I just served you a baked potato without any butter, any salt, any sour cream, like eat this baked potato. It's kind of boring, right? Like, all right, a baked potato, but if you never had the ability to add some salt to your food, most of our food would be pretty blah.
But we wouldn't know the difference. So.
Yeah, that's true.
If you had tasted it in the past, but also like you guys were trying to get me all these technicalities. It would be rather boring, rather blah, and like not all that fun.
Having taste buds can also be a terrible thing. Like today, I had a mouthful of diesel. So
You don't want to taste. You don't want to taste things. Well, that's the good thing about taste buds. Your body's saying, "Don't put that in your mouth." But here, I think the biggest thing that Jesus is getting at isn't necessarily like the flavor component, but like the preservative component. Jesus is saying, if you love me and you follow me, then you're going to tell other people about me. You're going to preserve lives. Anybody ever been rescued by a lifeguard?
I was rescued by a person because my kayak was floating on the sea.
I'm a long-term registered life.
Okay, so you are a registered LG. So there you go. There is a sense, guys, in which Christians are called to be a source of preservation for other people. Like we're to preserve life by telling people about Christ, not by telling people about like how great we are, how special we are, or just entertaining people. Like that's fun. Like tell jokes, be witty, all that. That's great. That's fun, right? But if you are truly in Christ, then you are the salt of the earth, Jesus says. That means you should be preserving life by telling other people about what Christ has done in your heart and in your life. All right, it doesn't stop there. I love this. He says, you are the light of the world. The city on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket. So what sort of light is Jesus referring to here? What didn't they have?
Electricity.
Lights.
Yeah, we have light. It's been said. I forget by who, but I was reading or heard this somewhere. But like there is constantly for us always a light on somewhere. It may be like the little like flashing thing on your microwave that flashes 12 all the time, or the little blue light on, or the little green light on a charger. But there's always in your world a source of light somewhere. Maybe really small and minuscule, but it's always there. 2,000 years ago, when the sun went down, one second, Jake. When the sun went down, that was it. What do you mean?
Power goes out. Is there any light?
Probably look at your phone.
There's generators, batteries,
That's what I'm saying.
stars.
Now, like, hey, not that long ago, not that like maybe like as 10 or 15 years ago, yeah. And then people are like, whoa. And it kind of freaks you out. It's like, but now we don't even have that anymore because we have things that are charged. I remember when I was a kid, when the power went out, to use that example, like it was like this ordeal to go and hunt down a flashlight. And then like inevitably, like my mom or dad would get mad, like, will you move the flashlight? And, but now that's not even a thing. We don't even buy flashlights anymore. You just take out your phone, hit the button, and we've all got like this little LED light shining into people's faces. So Jesus says, check this out. Jesus says to his followers, Jesus says, you are the light of the world. And their source of light was the sun. Big flaming ball of gas in the sky. That was like crucial for them. Like that's what heated the world and made their crops grow and allowed them the ability, afforded them the ability to work and do things out on their boats. All of it. So like they saw the sun as critical. And they would say the sun is the light of the world. Now Jesus says you are the light of the world. And so like I think I told you last week, this sermon is radical what Jesus is saying. And I don't want you guys, because if you're not careful, you can miss it and be like, okay, that's boring. He's talking about salt and light. Give me something more, Jesus. Entertain me. But here's what he's saying. He says, if you are a follower of me, you're the light of the world. You, not the sun, not some other person, are the brightest. You're the brightest thing. Light doesn't just like heat the earth and like tell us when to wake up, but light serves as a guide. He says, you like a city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket. So think about a city on a hill, right? It's nighttime. That's the idea here. It's nighttime. There's a city on a hill. If that city has lamps or candles burning, you can see it from a far off distance, right? You can move in that direction. Anybody ever seen like a lighthouse, an actual lighthouse in nature?
Yeah.
Right?
In nature. Wild lighthouse.
In the wild. Not like a lighthouse on a card or a picture, but like on a coastline somewhere. They're pretty cool. And I don't think they even get used anymore because like now ships have GPS and things of that nature. But like back in the day, lighthouses saved lives. You could be out on a boat at sea at night. There could be a storm. And you could just be getting tossed this way and that way. But if you could see the lighthouse, you could point your boat in that direction and get home. Is that what's that? All right. All the boats on Lake Textron. I don't know if it's operational or not. But here, I'm almost done. So I think that's what Jesus is saying. He's not saying, you, human being, if you love me, you're going to heat the earth. He's saying you're going to serve as a guide to people. What does the Bible say? Like there are lost people. The Bible says that all people have fallen short of the glory of God. They were all sinners. There are billions. Everybody say billions. Say it real dramatically. Billions.
Billions.
7.8.
There are literally, I don't know the exact number, but there are billions of people who are lost today. And most of those people don't think they're lost. They don't know they're lost. They may like be following some other religion. They may be super devout. They may be like really, they may mean well, but they're lost. And then there are people who are like super philosophical. They're deep thinkers and they live a good life. And they're like, hey, I've got my own philosophy. I've got my own way. I'm really smart. I'm really well educated, and I'm a good person. I'm good. So here's the deal. We as Christians, we need to lead people. We need to point people to the way. We need to guide people home. Where are we guiding them to? Here's something for you to think about tonight. You don't have to answer right now. We'll pick it up next week. Think on this, all right? And we'll try to pick back up with this next week. Your life, Where is your life leading your friends? Let me say that again. If you're a Christian, or even if you're not, how are you serving as a guide to other people, specifically like your friends, people you hang out with? Where are you pointing people? All right, let me end with this. I wanted to talk about this last week and ran out of time. I've talked to a few of you about this, like individually, but there is not going to be summer camp for us this summer because it's been canceled.
I didn't get to go last year.
Me either.
Yeah,
me.
Summer camp in someone's backyard.
That's what I was saying.
So here's what we're gonna do. I don't have all the details yet. I'm still putting it together, but we will still do something, and it's probably going to be like a series of things, not just one thing. So that we'll probably do some kind of like summer Disciple Now event. We're probably going to do like Wednesday nights will probably be like this for most of the summer. But we may not just do it here. Maybe we might do this like at other people's houses who have pools and that kind of thing. We'll probably go.
We just got our review.
All right. In addition to like a Disciple Now kind of a thing, we'll probably go, and this may not be for everybody because I know not everybody's like super down with the outdoors, but we may go like up to Beaver's Bend for a couple of days,
There we go.
go canoeing. So,
let me know when.
Sure.
I'm not
Like, ask them.
yeah. I will, I'll have some dates for you very, very soon on these things. But like right now, just some of you I know are kind of probably thinking and wondering about camp, and that's the big like domino that fell. It's not just us not going, but there's like hundreds of camps that are canceling this summer. But the camp that we were,
Why don't we do the same thing, just like not at a camp place, but like at like a campground or something.
that's what we're gonna try to do.
Yeah, just like a weekend.
You got like
Take it.
Let
So
Tex
we're gonna try. That's the hard part.
That's
the hard part. All right, I'm gonna pray for us and end the stream. And then you guys are welcome to hang out. It's also like 7:40, so some of you may have parents here waiting to get you. Let me pray for us, all right? God, we love you, and we thank you for the time you've given us to hang out tonight. Lord, I just pray for these students, especially those who know you and follow you because they've asked Jesus to save them. God, I pray that those students would understand that they are the light of the world and the salt of the earth. So God, that means that their life matters. It means that every day of their life matters. It doesn't mean that they're perfect. It doesn't mean they don't mess up. We all do. I do. But God, you think very highly of them. Lord, I know that sometimes we may like think that we're not special. We may think that there's no real great purpose for our lives. But you, the God of the universe, you look at us and you say, you're the salt of the earth. You're the light of the world. So Lord, maybe we need to think about what we're doing with our lives. We need to think about who we're leading, what we're pointing people toward. Are we very salty? Is there some zest and some flavor to our life? Are we helping preserve the life of other people, or are we just dragging people down? Are we pointing people to truth? Are we pointing people to you? Or are we pointing people to things that are false? God, help us to think through these questions deeply and meaningfully. We pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen. We'll see ya, you too.
You don't say like and subscribe.